So I met the sadist. And I did not know that's what he was called at the time. I just knew that he told me that he wanted to hurt girls. And that he had before, and that they liked it. And I remember thinking, I want you to hurt me, pretty please. Even though I had previously thought, I don't like to get hurt, period. And so then began my journey of trying to figure out why I was so excited and like why I wanted this so bad, and kind of like what was sort of happening inside of me. So the dude was in a relationship, like a primary relationship. They were in an open relationship, but I knew that there was no like actually falling for this dude, right? It was just more like if push came to shove, literally, it was going to have to be like for fun. And so I thought to myself, I'm not going to be codependent. I'm not going to get caught up with this guy. So I'm going to date other people. And I hadn't been dating for like literally 2 years. But I thought I can do it. And so I started dating other people. But as I was on the apps, I was so concerned with this guy that I started swiping right on people whose profile said not vanilla or something like kinky, but they usually didn't say that. They would say like kink friendly or something, right? Even if I wasn't attracted to the person, I'm like basically trying to interview random people online about to get some answers. So this guy plays along, and I said, he asks me something about like, what am I into? And then I was like, I would love you to tell me what I'm into. I have no idea. And I straight up, thank God for this guy, I straight up told the guy, I was like, there's this guy and he wants to hurt me and I really want him to, but I don't know like what I'm feeling. And so then the guy was like, oh, okay, well, and he asked me a couple of other questions. I don't remember what the questions were, and I don't remember what my answers were, but he ended up saying, okay, it sounds like you are a sub. It sounds like you're a submissive, and you're also a brat. And I was like, fuck you, dude. Because I did not understand the terms. So I thought he was just calling me a brat and saying that I'm submissive. And I was like, first off, I'm not submissive. I'm a strong, independent woman, okay? And you don't need to be rude. And then he was like, LOL, these are phrases and terms. And he said, most people that are strong and independent in their personal lives and in their like careers in the real world, they want to give up that sort of power and that control in the bedroom. And so those people are called submissive people. And I was like, this is starting to make my narcissistic relationship that I was in make a lot more sense. But anyway, that's neither here nor there, okay? And then I was like, oh. And then I said, what about the brat part? And he said, well, a brat is kind of like, well, have you ever taken the BDSM test? And I was like, no. And he said, okay, go to this website. I think it's literally called BDSM test or the BDSM test or something like that. And so I said, okay, I'll take this test. And then he said, okay, also there's a bunch of different terms and there's a bunch of different things that you can do, like that you can experience within kink. And then he started to describe some of these to me. And some of them were like, he said, and this is literally text messages, okay? And so some of them he was like, hey, he was like, do you ever, he said, imagine that you're with a lover and you are in a big house with some yard, some land, a cabin or something, okay? And he said, and one of you is the predator, quote, the predator, and then the other one is the prey. And it's pretty much like you say, 1, 2, 3, go. And then the prey's job is to run away, to get away, to not get gotten. And the predator's job is to get the prey, okay? And at the end, once the predator gets the prey, you know, they do it, basically. And so it's like mutual, but it's like a game. It's like a fun, crazy, wild game. And I was like, I'm sorry. I've never even imagined in my wildest dreams something so amazing. Okay? So for me, I was like, psh, please, I need to find out everything that there is to possibly do or be, because I want to do and be it all. So then I go to the test, the BDSM test. And there's like a long version and a short version. Of course, I take the long version because I love personality tests and questions about myself. So I'm going through, and they're asking things. I'm like, this is crazy. Who would want to do that? Like, do you want to dress up like a baby and wear a diaper and have a baby bottle? Like, during sex or something, like having to do with sex. And I was like, or even not. And I'm like, what? No, right? So I'm like so judgmental towards the things I'm not into. But then it would ask like a really wild question, like, do you want a bunch of strangers to like watch you while you're doing it? And then I'm like, well, I'm not saying I don't. So I go through this whole entire long test, and at the top it says 100% brat. Okay, so I'm officially 100% brat. But then there's also like other parts that go into it, which are like that I'm also a princess, and I'm also at the time when I took the test, it said that I was a masochist, which I learned means that I want to get hurt. So this is like hard for me to grapple with, right? Because I was like, any of these exes that I've ever with, I don't want them to hurt me, you know? But with this guy, I did. So I was still messaging with this guy on the dating app. Luckily, he lived states away, so it wasn't like we could meet in real life, because I really don't think it would have worked out now after all. But he was just such a great wealth of information. And so then he says to me, you need to go to this other website, and it's basically like a big community for people that are into different kinks. Okay. So I was like, okay. And he said, so then I go there, and there's like events. Okay. So I'm like, I'm going to go to this freaking events. Okay. So that's my next step, is me going to events. I went to like 4, I think. And they were wild. Can you even imagine? In my wildest dreams, I never could have imagined. Okay. I remember back in the day, I hung out with like basically only gay guys, and they would tell me that there were these like buildings. We'd like pass a building while driving in this city and be like, oh, the people have sex in that building, like group sex parties. And I'm like, what? I thought that was just like in Hollywood, you know? And literally I found out about some of the stuff, and I went to some of it. So I can tell you about that in another video. But the main thing was me understanding that BDSM and kink culture, if you will, isn't just like people being tied up in bondage rooms and like whipped or something, but I've seen some stuff, okay? And not everybody likes everything. And what I'm starting to understand also is that maybe I like certain things with certain people, because do I want everybody to hurt me the way that I wanted that dude to hurt me? No. But I don't think everybody wants to in the way that he wants to. So then I thought, oh gosh, am I just like a people pleaser? I just wanted to please him in that way because I knew that that's what he liked. I don't know. Because I'm also a brat, which means I'm not just here to say, yes, sir. You know what I mean? The tattoo that I'm going to get soon is like the ultimate brat tattoo. And it says, make me.